Actually, after you up here now? He's an Adam, man. He's young.
You're listening to GeekedOutRadio.com.
I'm feeling he's gonna be late again today. He's got so much shit to deal with. Yeah, I haven't done next week. You open that door? Hurry up! It's a mandatory union break. It's so heavy. Dude, I feel like such a punk right now. I'm like trying to lift that thing. I'm like, I gotta pee, right? And you come out there fucking all hulking and roided up. Just turn this down just a little bit, please. Just a little bit. Like, just one. Yeah, I like these stands. They're like $5 each. We only had 2 left. So I think they might be. Yeah. Do we have one that are just like, instead of the 3-part, it's only 2-part? Gotta have a 3-part to have it stand up. Huh? I wanted a 2-part. You wanted a 2-part? Really? So the 3-part is one that makes it stand up like that, right? You don't have the 2-part? I didn't know. Yeah, 3 or 2 to 5 or 2.
Hey Jeff, let's go start after this song.
Okay.
Because Chandler said he's gonna be late, so.
Okay.
I got my Marvel coffee cup.
Mm-hmm.
With Pepsi. As the song fades out, you want to just go on the side.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
And then. Alright.
How much time we got left?
45 seconds. Here, I'm serving this up.
Fill it out until the government gets here. Finally, like before on Weibo, you can see the conversation on YouTube.
Oh, that's good.
What's going on, folks? It is Geeked Out, Deaf Talk Radio. I'm JQ. This is Free.
How you doing?
This is Jeremy.
Hello.
And Chandler will be on his way in. He's running a little bit late. Today is a very, I can't say special, but it's a very different day today because we mourn the passing of an absolute legend in our industry. The man who's probably responsible for 90% of us being here today.
Mm-hmm.
And that man would be Stan the Man Lee. So, 95 years young, passed away this past Monday. And we've all kind of been feeling it, you know, so. But yeah, today we're going to spend the day just kind of talking about the man. We brought in little things here that kind of inspire us when we're doing what we do. And yeah, so thoughts, Free.
Yes.
I mean, what were you doing when you found out?
Well, when I woke up, and you know, there's so many times that you see hoax on Facebook and Twitter and all that you just kind of gloss over it, especially when it comes to Stan Lee and what has been happening in the past year with his life being so tumultuous. I just kind of pushed it to the side, and then when I actually got confirmation on his passing, that's when it kind of hit me. That's when I stopped drawing, because I was at the drawing table actually when there was confirmation, like, and it wasn't just TMZ and all that. Like, I actually got it from a news station,
Like CNN.
yeah,
You know.
like the big ones, right? The reputable ones, and so I stopped what I was drawing and kind of just took a minute to just realize that one of the most iconic figures. Sorry. The most. Good.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Take your time, bro. Jeremy, how about you?
Well, when I woke up that morning and I do what I usually do is just go on like Facebook, you know, go on my phone, check mail and all that kind of stuff when I wake up. And then I go on Facebook and I saw all the news and stuff about Stan passing, and you know, like Bree said, he just with all the hoaxes and stuff like that,
You kind of dismiss it.
yeah, you dismiss it, and then like everybody started posting stuff about it, so it just kind of like a punch to the gut.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Yeah.
I was actually, I had a day off and I slept in, and I didn't even hear from the news. I didn't hear from. Right in the middle of my show. I was, I had just woken up, and it wasn't even like the news or anything that hit, like that kind of set me off. It was it was friends of mine hit me up telling me, hey, did you hear about Stan?
Yeah.
It's almost, and like, you know, it's like it's like when a family member would pass.
Whoa. Jeff.
Is that on the monitor?
Jeff. Turn down your gain.
I didn't touch anything.
Turn the gain down.
I'm working on it.
Turn your gain down.
I'm working on it.
Try the monitors. Just turn them off.
You're touching your snooze.
I gotta jump through like 4 screens, man. Show yourself.
Alright.
Wow.
Alright, so
Anyways,
no, I was kind of like you, like, you know, it took me a minute to really realize what was going on. Most iconic icon in comic history just passed away. Somebody that influenced everybody. I mean, I'm talking every single person in America and around the world was influenced by this man, and he passed away. And it put me in a melancholy feeling where I didn't know how to feel really. You know what I mean? And like you said, it was kind of like having kind of a member of your family, an extended family, pass away. And so, yeah, I get that feeling, man.
it was weird because like I just get texts like from people that don't like I know that I personally know.
You know, honestly, today is kind of a weird show because we're so normally upbeat and so normally we get to discuss different issues on how comics influenced us, how comics are basically what this whole community is about and what we do. But also, it's not just comic people anymore. It's actually worldwide with the introduction of what it is today. It's a global phenomenon that's happened, and it's all because of guys like Stan Lee. Now, to me, there's a lot of great writers like Bendis and Chris Claremont and all these other guys, but without Stan Lee saying, I'm going to write a book. I mean, it's a pretty well-known story now that he was telling his wife at the time, I don't want to do comics anymore. I don't want to write for comics because I'm not writing what I love. And she told him, well, you're going to quit anyway, so why not write something that you want to do? Write it how you want to write it, create the characters that you want to create. And that's when Fantastic Four #1 came out. And he wrote it the way he wanted to write it, and it became such a success that it influenced everybody else from then on. Because now writers are writing, to this day, how they want to write. That's why the Image guys, when they broke off the Image Revolution, because they wanted to take control of their characters. And it kind of stems from Stan Lee taking control of his characters, you know? But in a different way, because, I mean, let's be honest, Image wasn't writers, they were artists. But they had great ideas, and, you know, sooner or later they got together with actual writers and wrote stuff. But if you notice, like in the old school videos that's been popping up now with Stan Lee talking to the comic greats, and just totally dogging on Todd and
That was that one. Yeah, that was that one video that I posted yesterday, right?
Yeah. And so, yeah, I just thought it was funny that, like, even,
that was hilarious.
Even Stan is like, so do you draw hands and feet?
You're gonna finish up those feet over there?
Finish up those feet. I want. You know, did you see that part during that video? There's a little video online, so if you want to check it out, it's Robin Todd and Stan Lee, and Stan Lee's literally just dunking on these guys left and right. And just keep in mind, Rob and Todd, they just left Marvel to start an Image, and they were like the top of their game. And Stan Lee at that time was already like 80 or 70 something years old, right? And he was literally telling Rob, didn't we agree that you would draw and you would let the adults talk? And I just thought that was funny. Stan was always quick and quippy, you know. When somebody would draw him and show him like their fan art of him. Like my friend John Murakami out in Hawaii, extremely a prolific illustrator from Hawaii. Like everybody knows about him, right? He shows Stanley a drawing. Stan, first thing Stan says, "You didn't make me look enough like Brad Pitt. I need to look more like Brad
Nice.
Pitt." Like little things like that, just to make everybody laugh. And that was the kind of guy he was. In public, he always had a smile. I mean, in private, everybody gets into fights with their moms and dads and kids and all that stuff. Everybody has their there's squabbles. But in public, you never see that person. You always see a smiling Stanley, no matter what happens.
Yeah.
Feedback or when he's on stage and something happens or somebody yells out, "Stan, you suck," or whatever. I don't think anybody actually really said that. But he would have always something quick to say to make the crowd just bowl over laughing. One year we were at Kamikaze, in fact it was called Stanley's Kamikaze at the time in LA. And he was on stage with Kevin Smith. And everybody knows Kevin Smith is funny, thinking fart jokes and all that stuff. But Stan was outshining him like the sun. It was ridiculous. And we're all sitting at the tables and we're all just laughing our butts off because of Stanley. So, anyway.
Going back to that video that I posted.
Mm-hmm.
So they're drawing, and I think this is the first time that they kind of put together Overkill. If you guys remember Overkill from Spawn? And they were just putting all kinds of he had shoulder pads and spikes everywhere.
I don't think you have enough pouches on his legs.
Yeah, wires going here and there.
Right, wires.
And Stan was, Stan being the guy that he is, was like, how does this guy get dressed?
Right.
Like,
it's like, what? How long does it take these guys to get dressed every single time?
Yeah.
It's like the call comes out, "We need help." Okay, hold on.
With bandolier on.
Right.
Three different shoulder pads and everything. It's crazy.
So he's got 3 missile launchers on the top, but he's got 4 knuckles.
I know.
Why do we need 3? I was just like, you know what? That's a writer in him.
Yeah.
Like everything's got to kind of make sense. You know what I mean? Like as an artist, you put belt buckles everywhere. You put, why does he have a crazy mask that sticks out like Wolverine? Like why does he have these masks like that? In Stan's mind, and most writers, things have to make sense. Artists just throw stuff together because it looks cool, right? But for him, he's the one that puts it together. The reason why he has this is because with that mask, he can hear better because now the vibrations are. That's what he's talking about. Wolverine having the mask.
Oh yeah.
Is because the vibrations go into his ears so he can hear better.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, and so like I was like, I never even thought of that. Like who would think of that except for the writer?
It's a radar dish, basically.
Right? And so, yeah, that was kind of cool. I mean, I think we all got kind of cool Stanley,
stories.
Yeah, okay, so you've met Stan actually a couple times, right? Or was it that one time?
Just that one time, and I had, after I looked at the ticket, it was 2011.
Wow.
2011.
Where was that at?
That was up in Sunnyvale, California. And actually,
wow.
For our folks on YouTube Live,
yes.
Well, I'm going to take the I don't know if you can, hold on, give me a second here.
Uh-oh.
Chat for a minute.
Okay, so while he gets ready and all that, Jeremy, have you ever met Stanley before?
No.
No.
I met him to get an autograph, but that was...
In a cattle call for, you want to see Stanley, you get into this line. You want to take a picture with Stanley, you get into this line. You want to get an autograph, you go to this line. And so I get it. There's a lot of people out there that know Jackson, Abraham Lincoln, Walt Disney. Would you do it for $150? And everybody said, yeah, right? So, well, and they're standing at my table while I'm drawing for them. I said, well, go get your ticket now. Because even if your kids, because you can bring in kids and everything, even if your kids don't know how the gravity of this situation is, this moment, they will know when they're 14, 15, or 16.
Yeah.
Right now they're 10, they don't care. They want Pokemon and they want Power Rangers. But later on in life, you're going to show them this, and they're going to be like, wow, I can't believe that I got a picture with Stanley. Mm-hmm. And so, what you got on there, man?
Okay, so 2011, it was my birthday, and my sister had gotten me a ticket to go see Stan, and he was doing a show. He was doing an autograph signing at a local comic book shop.
A comic shop.
Not even at a convention or anything. At a comic book shop. So Shout out to I don't even know if this shop's still there, but Comic Collectors. What's the
Presents.
What's it say on my back?
Comic collector shop.
Comic Collector Shop in Sunnyvale, California. That's
Where's Sunnyvale? Is that north?
Sunnyvale is a little bit north of San Jose.
Oh,
So
wow.
you're actually it's in the middle of Silicon Valley.
Oh, okay.
And the shop isn't big at all. It was like literally like probably
Size of the studio?
the size of the studio.
Wow.
Super small shop. But then the line outside was crazy. And honestly, it probably wasn't even as long as you would see like Silicon Valley. Like that one, that show.
Yeah.
That that line was just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people.
Uh-huh.
Like this one was just probably like one line around the block. I mean around the parking lot. But that the parking lot wasn't even that big. So
So that's about 200 people.
yeah.
So that's not bad. Like compared to the 3,000 people normally waiting for them.
So my sister got me a ticket for that event, and I went, and I was like, okay, when are we gonna get signed? Because like obviously, I can get a bunch of different comic books signed, but I have this thing, and the X-Men were always my group. Long before I went to this event, I have this thing called, and if you guys are on Facebook Live, YouTube Live. Yes, it's like
It's a crazy awesome book, by the way.
it's like I would actually get. If I open this up, I don't know if you guys can see this, but I got Stan there. I got J. Scott Campbell, Art Adams, freaking Joe Rubenstein, Jim Lee, Chris Claremont.
Claremont.
So anybody that made sense for the
X-Men book,
X-Men universe, I got them to sign the book. So
that's an awesome book.
that's my little thing of inspiration. I actually when I don't carry it around, I have it sitting underneath my drawing desk.
Right there.
Just right there.
As an inspiration.
Yeah.
Really cool.
And actually I think we were talking about this yesterday when we were setting up for the show. We're like, okay, bring a couple things that inspire you. Hold on, where is that? And it's not just hold on. Give me a second.
I will say you go ahead and see the thing is, speaking of like store signings, he rarely ever did store signings in the past 5 years. And the reason why is because his lines would be crazy. But he does love going to Hawaii, and he does love going and to seeing other realms with Loretta and Charlie and the rest of the crew. And he did a store signing there.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was it's the biggest store in Hawaii, but that place was ridiculously packed. And
Yeah.
of course, it's Stan, right? But he rarely ever handlers. Like,
Oh, wow.
like when you go to shops and everything,
Yeah.
he has a handler next to him, so he doesn't have to deal with money and all that stuff. She was one of the first handlers in Hawaii to work with him. Yeah, I think she was the first actually.
Yeah.
And then Chandler, normally he'd be on this side. He was another handler for Stanley back in the days too. So it's actually kind of cool. So shout out to Other Realms and the crew out there.
Such a cool show.
Yeah, it's a really, really cool shop. So, and they're the only ones that have Stanley have a signing in the past 10 years at a comic shop. So that's kind of cool.
In Hawaii.
In Hawaii.
So
anyway, go
but
on.
yeah, so
What do you got?
go back. So I have the ticket stub. So we got ticketprinting.com. The ticket
Are you
stub.
serious? Let me see.
That's the ticket.
What?
So then we were talking about what inspires us. I have have
Yeah.
that, and then I have a picture of my pops that I put.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's no zoom on this camera, so we can't zoom in. So so I have these two on my desk at all times.
Wow. That's amazing, man.
Here's I haven't even looked at this card. This is the card that my son thinks, but Paco will not beg. Birthday or not, don't go with Paco. Oh, it's R&K Comics. There you go. That's the name.
R&K Comics, okay. I mean, I gotta tell you, man, your sisters are amazing. You have two sisters, right?
Yeah.
Both your sisters are amazing because they're both nerdy, they're both cool, and they're both into like all these things. And I mean, again, to get something like that, like a ticket,
To go
they'll-
see Stan.
yeah, here, this is for you. Like out of nowhere. I mean, that's so awesome, man. So
yeah. What about you, Jeremy? What do you have that like how I have my X-Men book, and what do you have like any pieces of
Well, I didn't know we had to bring stuff into
You
this.
didn't have to
I'm
bring
not
it.
even supposed to be.
yeah,
And
he's
then
not
those
supposed to be
are
on
the-
camera.
But usually I have my thing is I love the art books from the different artists, and I have those usually on a bookshelf or on my nightstand, and they're inspiration or even have my comics.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, boxes and boxes of comics.
Boxes and boxes of comics that I
I mean,
haven't read.
you do have your favorite character is.
So mine is Silver Surfer, and I do have Silver Surfer #1, Volume 2, signed by Stan, that I got at
Nice.
Amazing
Nice.
a couple years ago.
See, I mean, again, his influence has touched everybody I've known.
Like everybody that hit me up didn't read comics.
Right?
I was like, and I didn't even look at Facebook yet and on all that stuff. It was all these people that knew that he was influential on my life. They already knew. They were like, oh, dude.
Yeah. Like, we gotta hit up Quincy and see how he's
Yeah.
doing. But
It's
yeah,
not the thing to wake up to.
Yeah, but I totally get it, man. Like, some of the people that when I DJ'd or whatever, I mean, okay, now keep in mind, I shouldn't say that they weren't into comics because I just didn't know they were into comics. Because when you're bartending or you're restaurant or whatever or DJing whatever, you don't talk about nerdy stuff all the time.
Yeah.
But they technically have like 6 long boxes at home. They haven't read a comic in years, but they still have those comics from their teenage years. You got guys like Jeremy that just has boxes and boxes of comics. And myself, I draw so much now that I barely ever get to read comics, but I still have that comic influence. And so even guys that I don't normally would think would be into comics, like big burly dudes that like lift weights, like bench pressing 600 pounds kind of thing. They were like, "Oh, dude, did you hear what happened?" I was like, "No, why? What happened?" And then, "Oh, Stan passed away." I was like, "Is that for real though?"
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's for real, dude. I was like, "Oh, okay." So that's when I looked it up. But yeah, so it was kind of a crazy time. And the funny thing is, like I said, when I woke up, I bypassed it all. Stan, yeah, whatever. Oh, somebody. It's one of those like those hoax.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan passed a diner, this morning, like that kind of thing. And so I'm drawing, and I'm doing one of my commissions, and I'm like, okay, blah, blah. And then I look at my phone, I'm like, wow, this is for real. So I put everything down, literally put everything down. And I was like, oh man, this sucks. And then I saw your video of you doing a tribute drawing for Stan. I said, oh, that's a great idea. And so I picked up one of my sketch covers that were blank, and I was thinking, which one should I do? Because of course, everything Marvel has his name on it. So I was thinking, okay, I got Fantastic Four, I got X-Men, I got. I was thinking about doing X-Men because it was so influential, like Chris Claremont and Jim Lee and all that stuff, Magneto. But Stan Lee's favorite character was Spider-Man. So I did a Spider-Man tribute, which is this right here.
It's amazing too, by the way.
Thanks. I mean, honestly, it was just one of those, I wanted to do something because I was already in the drawing mood, in the drawing mode, like I'm already doing my commissions, and I didn't want to stop the process. And the reason why I didn't just drop everything and stay drop is because of who Stan Lee was. His work ethic, let's get it done. This is the comic industry. We all love it. Let's keep moving forward. Excelsior. I mean, it's literally on the New York seal, the state seal, where it means, upward and onward to bigger and better things or something like that. Don't quote me, but, I'm paraphrasing.
Close enough.
Yeah, close enough, right?
Yeah.
And so it's one of those, I'm going to continue to do what Stan Lee taught me. Continue to work hard, continue to draw every day, continue to try and tell a story. Because basically, that's what it is. Comics is telling a story. Either you're a writer, you tell the story with words, or you're an artist, you tell the story with pictures. And you mend those together, and hopefully you get magic. And so, that's what I'm doing. Especially this weekend, we had the Great American Comic Con. It's the first comic convention after Stan's passing. And it's going to be hard, because everybody's going to be talking about it and all that. I'm going to keep bringing it up. But at the same time, it's a way for everybody to mourn together and still celebrate his life, in knowing that without Stan Lee, these conventions wouldn't be as big as they are. Period. Without the Avengers making such a big impact, without Spider-Man, Iron Man, Captain America, Blade, without these movies being so big, comic conventions wouldn't be as big as it is now.
Yeah.
And without the comics that it grew from, there would be no movies. So, yeah, so it's all about Stan.
I mean, like, as far back as I can remember, like even the first few comic books that I picked up, 7, 8 years old, Stan's name was there. So that was the first name that I would associate with comic books. Even before I knew about, like which artist to follow and who are the cool writers, and all that stuff. It was always Stan's name there. And then even after that, even before I started getting into the artists and the writers and all that, Stan's voice would be the one introducing Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Yeah, right.
So not only did I
voice.
know that name, I knew the voice.
Stan Lee presents.
And you know what? I don't even think at that time. I don't even think I knew what he looked like.
Mm-hmm.
But I just knew, I knew who he was, like his name and his voice.
Yeah, yeah.
So and I always associated it with comic books in general, not even just DC or Marvel, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was just
exactly.
It was just Stan
comics
and comics,
right?
No,
I totally agree. When back in the days, true believers. Will Spider-Man ever defeat the Green Goblin? We'll see next week. Spider-Man is Amazing Friends. I mean, that was so iconic, and you don't even realize what's going on until later on. You're like, oh, that was him.
Yeah.
So, and of course, every comic that came out of Marvel, Stan Lee presents.
Yep.
So, yeah, I remember those days, man.
It's crazy. There was, I don't know if you guys saw this. There was a Spider-Man cartoon that came out, I think, within the last 10 years, and it featured Stan as Stan. Not even like as somebody else, but it was Stan.
Really?
And Spider-Man had gone into a different dimension. And Stan goes, hey, he calls his secretary. He's like, hold all my meetings, hold all my calls. I think I'm going crazy right now.
I saw that clip. I remember that.
Huh?
So I saw that clip.
You saw that, right? That was so cool.
Oh, man.
But hey, I mean, this guy, like, it's going to be weird. You know what? He has had so many different cameos in these Marvel movies, and even if he wasn't physically there, I think they even had like pictures of him like hanging up somewhere.
Yeah. I know that Deadpool has a picture of Stan Lee in the background. So even if he wasn't physically on set, he was still there. Another sobering moment, and I might start crying after this one. I read online, somebody posted this thing where it's like every Marvel movie that's come out since Iron Man till now has had a Stan Lee cameo. From this day forward, there will be no more Stan Lee cameos. The only thing you'll see is a dedication to the man.
Well, no, he's actually filmed 3.
Oh, really?
He's filmed 3 more cameos, so
Okay.
he's got 3 more. So we got some time, but you're right.
But yeah, like after those 3, that's it.
You never know though. They could do the same thing, like put a picture in the background or something.
I hope so. I hope they do that. Just because out of respect for the fact that he is the king of cameos.
Yeah.
Nobody else has done 35 plus cameos, But again, you won't physically see him after those 3 are in the canon done. You won't physically see him on set or anything. So that's kind of heartbreaking to think of.
Well, they could do like a Big Hero 6 kind of thing.
Well, I hope you do.
Big Hero 6.
Oh, you never seen Big Hero 6?
No, I've seen it, but I don't remember.
Oh,
yeah, I do remember.
Stan.
I do remember.
Yeah,
Stan had his.
He's the stony dude's dad.
Yeah.
Fred's dad.
Fred's dad. So.
That's
Spoiler alert, by the way.
Spoiler alert.
If you haven't seen that movie that came out 10 years ago.
But it's funny because nobody realizes that Big Hero 6 came out under Marvel.
Yeah.
It's a Marvel comic.
It's a Marvel comic. So
I mean, it has nothing to do with the comic, though. Did you ever read the comic? Nothing to do with the comic.
I read like maybe the first couple issues.
You know what? With the hat on and everything, he kind of looks like Tadashi or Tadeshi or whatever, the older brother that died. Again, spoiler alert. I know I'm being racist, like just because I got a hat on and I'm Asian.
I know.
Is that the reason?
I mean, I have a hat on and I wear glasses and I'm Asian.
And you're from San Francisco or
San
whatever?
San Francisco. I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, the funny thing is a lot of people, knowing the fact that Stanley's gonna be cameoing in all these movies, they'll look for where he's gonna be in the cameos. Because every once in a while you'll get like the DJ when he's in the background doing the DJ thing at the strip club or whatever, or you'll get him like, I thought he'd be taller, you know,
or him hollering at some girl in on some different planet,
right? Or like cutting Thor's hair. So
what's your favorite cameo? If you could name at least one or two.
Are you Tony Stank?
I was gonna say that one too.
Yep.
Yes, this is Tony Stank.
I think I like that one, and the fact that he's the one that cut Thor's hair.
Oh yeah.
Thing.
But you shall not cut the God of Thunder's hair.
Please don't. Please don't cut my hair. But yeah, I think those probably my two. What did you?
Well, I like where you get called Hugh after.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Looking good, Hugh, when he turns around.
Who's that guy?
I think one of the ones that stands out for me is when I think it was it the Fantastic Four when he was at the wedding, and then he walks up and he's like, "Name please, Stan Lee." Good try.
Yeah. Oh, that was a good one too.
No, that's what I really Stan.
I'm sorry to Fantastic Four, but I pretty much forgot that whole movie.
I know.
Right.
But yeah, that was one of those ones.
Album.
Yeah, that was one of those ones that he actually called himself by his name, like
name, sir? Stan Lee. Yeah, nice try.
Oh really?
No, really, it is. Yeah, no, that's a great one. That's a good one. The one that I guess something was about to fall on the ground. He's on the
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I think it was the first Spider-Man actually, right?
Yeah.
And he actually was a hero because he saved the girl.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there you go.
There's some great ones.
There's a fake movie poster out right now with Cranston as Stan Lee. Have you seen that poster?
No.
And it says, why take over the universe when you can create your own?
I think you make a perfect Stanley.
Oh, you make
my
a perfect
God.
Stan Lee.
That picture looked almost exactly like
right? I mean, you can tell it's Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're like, oh, that's Stan Lee, right? Because he's got the shades on.
Yeah.
On one side, he's got Captain America shit. The other side, you got Iron Man.
Oh,
and you can totally see it. It's so perfect. I'm hoping, please, and I'm praying to all the Hollywood gods out there, make that movie.
With Scott Eastwood. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Scott Eastwood. The funny thing is, we talk about Scott Eastwood as Captain America.
Yeah.
But he could play Wolverine because of his looks. But honestly, Captain America would be like the perfect casting.
He actually tried out for that role too.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Okay, so just to let everybody know out there that this weekend is the Great American Comic Con here in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Convention Center, November 17th and 18th, so that's Saturday and Sunday. We are going to be having a little memorial for Stan Lee, which will be featuring guys like Alan Bellman, right? Now, Alan Bellman, he was actually one of the guys that started Timely Comics and was one of the first artists on Captain America, right? And so he's going to be speaking. We also got Tom DeFalco, which is an editor-in-chief at one point at Marvel, and worked with Stan very closely, and a whole bunch of other guys that are going to, and artists and creators that are going to be speaking at Stanley's memorial at the Great American Comic Con. So go ahead and go on GACCLV.com for more information.
You know what I'm going to do because Alan Bellman's going to be there?
Yes.
I'm going to draw Captain America.
Draw him Captain America, man.
I mean, Alan's, 94 now?
Yes.
And he needs a little bit of, he needs a little tribute too, so.
Well, you know, the thing is with Alan Bellman, he's such a great guy. He's got a huge heart. He does a lot of charity work in Florida where he's living with his beautiful, amazing wife, Roz.
Yep.
But just recently in this past year, he had some tragedy fall upon him with his son passing away.
Oh, yeah.
And so I tried to send him some love earlier when it first happened, but now one of his friends, Stan Lee, and one of his co-workers from back in the days, all the way until so on and so forth, just passed away with Stan Lee. So if you see Alan Bellman at Great American Comic Con, show him some love. Let him know that you're in his corner. I mean, he was such a great guy. Like when
Oh,
we were
yeah.
in the interview, like the energy that he was putting out at 94 years old, it was just ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Like it was hard trying to keep up with him. You know.
Yeah, check it out on our YouTube channel. If you guys are subscribing to us,
Yeah.
hit that like button, as they say in all YouTube videos.
Hit that like and subscribe button
Yeah,
right
so-
here.
So check it out. The Alan Billman interviews on there. So a lot of great insight, a lot of great things that were spoken about. So check that out. But yeah, I mean, kind of going back to the day of Stan's passing. What did you, I mean? I know you stopped for a minute to kind of soak it all in.
Yeah.
What did you do? Like, did you do anything after the fact? Did you?
I did not.
Because I know like some people like they binge watched a bunch of Avengers movies and whatnot.
I did nothing.
It's kind of like just
See, the thing is, Jeremy just did Jeremy.
yeah.
I just,
You know, he's like,
I went,
"Oh."
I went about my day.
Yeah.
I did my morning in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. Like, we all have lives to live, and we all, you know, we mourn and we think about who influenced us and who passed, you know. But at the same time, we all have to get up. We all have to take a shower, get ready for the day, go to work, or do whatever we have to do.
Yep.
And that's exactly what Stan Lee did every single day.
So, and here is the man himself. Chandler has joined us.
Hey, John. And so, in regards to, you know, what were you doing the day of, or what did you do after, what was your reaction? I think a lot of us, we just took it in, and we went along with our day because we have to, because nothing stops. And Stanley, of all people, would tell you, the universe doesn't stop.
Yeah.
You know, everything has to keep going. He was 95 years old. So at 95 years old, he saw a lot of people in his life pass away. You know, co-workers, family members, or whatever. But he kept stride. He kept writing and he kept creating. He kept going to conventions because he loved the fans. Now, a lot of people are saying, you know, oh, why does he do this? You know, why do they keep making him go to conventions? They didn't make him go to anything. He makes enough money being a producer and all this kind of stuff for all the movies. He makes enough money doing signatures at home to live comfortably. Period. So when he goes to conventions, it's not because he was forced to do it. He actually wanted to because he loves the reaction of his fans. You know, there's so many videos of him saying, you know, this is the reason why I do it. Some days I wake up and I say, what's it all for? Then he'll read a letter from a fan, or he'll see a video a fan posted, and it'll energize him to the point where it's like, yeah, let's go and let's keep going. And so that's why when you really think about, like, what are you going to do now? Everybody in the industry, as a professional artist and writer, as a creator, you keep moving forward, Excelsior, just like Stanley did.
I sat around for a little bit, took it all in, looked at all the like news reports and stuff like that, and then you know what, again like you said, you know, we got to keep on moving. So I went back to the drawing table and I just spent my day just drawing and drawing.
Yeah.
So now that Chandler's joined us, let's get some words from Mr. Chandler Rice.
Word. How do you sum up having the man who was single-handedly instrumental in creating so much of what today's entertainment is based on? You have the printed word with the comic books. You have what's on the movie screen, what's on the TV screen. You know, comic books have taken over the pop culture of America and the world, for that matter. You know, when you read these stories about how Venom, which just got released in China to unbelievable numbers and has already skyrocketed to, you know, to dollars that are, you know, that they didn't expect to reach. And not that he created every single character, but the fact is that, and you talk to any comic book creator from the 60s and 70s, and they will tell you this. Stan single-handedly saved the comic book industry by doing what he does best, and that is imagining and creating. There wasn't a better champion, there wasn't a better cheerleader than what Stan did out there. And so how do you wrap that up? I put this on the same scale as when we lost Elvis or when we lost Michael Jackson. And I was actually talking to someone about this morning, and we were talking about how people react to different situations. When you have some different celebrities that have passed away, and of course they have their fans, but when you're talking about someone such as an Elvis or Michael Jackson, who through their music, they were able to touch, and I mean deeply, touch their fans out there by tapping into raw emotions, which when you have the ability to tap into that have done something that very few people are able to do. Stan was able to do that. He was able to, through his words, through his ideas, he was able to tap into the raw emotions of people. As a child, you're sitting there and you're reading these comic books. You're amazed by these pictures. You're motivated by these stories. And you say, well, how motivated can a little kid get? You know what? Just the fact that a little kid goes, Mommy, I want to be Superman. That's motivation. That's helping to set that child on a path for him to make himself better as a human being. And again, there are very few people that can actually say that they were able to have that type of effect on a human being. Stan is one of them. Free, I know you obviously are aware of something that we have very quickly been putting together, and I don't know if you mentioned it yet.
I mentioned it a little bit.
You did mention it? It just, it's funny how the universe works. The fact that we happen to have our comic book convention that is going to be taking place this weekend here in Las Vegas. We're going to have a gathering of 20 different comic creators, many who work side by side with Stan, and many who have absolutely wonderful stories that they can tell about working with Stan or what Stan meant to them. What we've decided to do is Sunday morning at 9:30 at the convention center, we are going to be hosting a tribute, a celebration of life to Stan Lee. And the timing, I like I said, it's funny how the universe works. But to my knowledge, this will be the very first event acknowledging the passing of this man, and also giving fans a place where they can come out and they can show their love, they can show their respect, they can show what Stan meant to them. This is a free event. I invite anyone who wants to come out, please come out. Come listen to the stories of these gentlemen and ladies that will be at the event, sharing their personal experiences with Stan, sharing what Stan meant to them. When I sent an email to each of my guests, and I told them what we were looking at doing, and I asked, would anyone like to be part of it? And some of them, there was not even a hesitation. It was like the email came flying back, absolutely, I'm in. I want to be there. And just, this is an opportunity for fans and creators and just people to come together and to celebrate the life of a man who gave us so much. And I don't think it was a case where Stan planned on doing that. It was just, God, I truly believe that there are people out there that God reaches down and touches and gives something, a special spark to, and Stan was one of those. And, it was funny because I've seen some really cute graphics that people have been posting, and one of my favorite ones that I saw was of Stan standing at the pearly gates, and he has a shirt on that says Marvel Comics, and he has a shirt on that says Stan Lee, and he has like a briefcase that says Marvel Comics, and then you see basically a dialogue box, and it was, "Hey kid, you weren't half bad at creating universes either. Welcome, basically it was God telling him, hey, you're pretty good. Welcome to my world, and I thought it was really cute. Another one that I saw, and it was actually, I apologize because my mind is just ready to explode with everything that's been going on, but it was one of our local creators here. I don't know, it might have been you or Jeremy. It was two hands that were shaking. Justin. It was two hands that were shaking. One of the hands was Stan Lee, the other hand was Jack Kirby, I believe. And it was basically, good to see you. Glad to have you back beside me. And, obviously there's still a lot of information out there that has not come out as to exactly everything that happened. But in my mind, this is what happened. Stan went to sleep Sunday night. And at some point Sunday night, God stepped over to him with Joni standing right there. And they both reached out to Stan. They said, it's time. Stan was ready to go. He was ready. He's told people that it was his time. He was ready to go back to be side by side with Joni, who he loved with all his heart. He had done everything he could. And while I know we can say, Stan, why now? My comment is, Stan, thank you. Because you've given us more than any of us could have possibly given or expected. And, I was blessed to have spent time with him on a personal level as well as business. And it's kind of ironic because the two men that I respect the most, my father and Stanley, are now standing side by side in heaven. Okay. I'm sorry, obviously, that was
There's no need to apologize, man. There's no need to apologize.
All I can say is those that are listening and those that can come out Sunday, please come and join us. 9:30, it's going to be at the convention center. It's going to be free. And, come and share your love. Come share your stories. Come meet people who all have the same love and feelings that you have. And one of the things we're going to be doing is we're going to have a giant banner that says, Stan, we love you. And we ask everyone, please sign it. Please sign it. What I plan on doing with that banner once we have it all signed, and I hope it's completely covered with ink,
oh yeah,
is I plan on personally delivering that to Stan's daughter and handing it to her and saying how much the fans loved her father. And thank you to her daughter, or thank you to Stan's daughter, JC, for sharing Stan with us, because I know she did make sacrifices in doing that. And I want to mention one more person that I want to say thank you to, and that's Stan's brother, Larry Lieber. I talked to Larry shortly after Stan had passed. It's unfortunate that the news of Stan's passing had to come from a news source that called him. I'm not going to mention who that news source is, because if I do, I'll get on a rant about it. But I spent about half hour to 45 minutes on the phone with Larry, and we were talking about Stan. And they had a very interesting relationship. They had a very unique relationship. And, just Larry, know that we all love you. We're here for you. And, you had a phenomenal brother. You had a phenomenal brother. And that, like I said, we're here. We're here. And just keep going. And, let's do it in honor of Stan. So,
once again, that's Sunday morning, 9:30 a.m. Now, since you said it's free, is it going to be like in the lobby area, or where were you going to have it exactly?
No, actually, it is going to be in the middle of the convention center. What we're doing is we're actually going to have a stage with a podium.
Okay.
We will have a section. We plan on setting up 500 chairs, anticipating at least that many people, with a air accommodate up to 10,000 people. And I realize that, we can't necessarily put out 10,000 chairs, but we're going to have 500 chairs already set up, and we're going to have probably another 500 chairs ready to go. And, as people arrive, it will allow us to really start getting engaged. But it's going to be, you will come into the southeast entrance of the hall, which is where the Great American Comic Con entrance will be. And you'll be going down a hallway that will actually lead you to a special section of the convention hall, where this special area is going to be set up. And like I said, that's where people are going to be able to gather. We will have speakers coming up and talking, and so it's going to be inside, unless half of Las Vegas shows up and we have to take it outside. Who knows? But it's planned to be inside the convention hall of the South Hall.
Very cool, very cool. We got about 5 more minutes. Any last words that you guys want to say about Stan?
Well, I mean, let's get back to what I was saying earlier about going forth in our lives. Stan Lee passed away, but he also left a legacy of good work ethic. He left a legacy of an entire comic industry. So I implore everybody to, especially in the comic industry and the fans that love comics and love to read and draw, to go out to your comic conventions, go to your local comic shops, pick up something. It doesn't even have to be Stan Lee, it could be Aspen, it could be IDW, it could be a DC for all I care. But go out and read a comic. Keep his spirit alive.
I think I know what you're saying. He, the fact is that Stan put so much into, the fact that he was instrumental in saving the industry. So we need to now take on that responsibility of keeping the industry thriving. And like you said, it doesn't make any difference whether it's a Marvel book or a DC book or an IDW book or whatever book. It's the fact that we are able to express ideas, we're able to create characters, create story, create imagination, and to be able to share that with others, whether it's the printed form, whether it's the TV form or whatever. But it's go out and continue it and don't let it die. Go to your local shops, go someplace, pick up a book, read it, and enjoy it.
I think one of the things that Stan taught us very early on was that if you have a crazy idea, go for it. If you think it'll work, go for it. Doesn't matter what anybody else says. It doesn't matter. Just go with your gut instinct and just run with it, because you never know what's going to happen.
You know what? I'm definitely going to add this point to what you just said, and maybe this is something that I don't know. Here's a story about Spider-Man. Spider-Man was an idea that Stan put together, and at the time, Marvel was in need of creating new characters, especially superheroes, because the industry was really having a difficult time. They were doing westerns, they were doing crime, they were doing
romance,
the whole bit. And Stan had made the decision. He went to his artists and said, "Guys, we need to start creating new characters." So Stan went to Martin Goldman, who was his publisher, and he says, "I have an idea for a character I'd like to publish." And he basically explained to Martin who this character was and how he was a teenage boy who was bit by a spider and the whole bit. And Martin goes, "Stan, that will never sell. Are you crazy? That is such a ludicrous. But you know what? Go ahead. Just as a matter of fact, we're gonna be putting it in the Amazing Fantasy. You know, what is it, issue 15 that's coming up? We're winding down that comic anyway, so just go ahead and put it in there. But that's never going to sell." So the book comes out, and within about a month or 2 months later, Martin walks up to Stan and says, "Stan, you know that character? I love that you created him. I knew it was going to be a hit. So we're going to give him his own book now." Just like you said, you have an idea. You never know where it's going to go. Put it down on paper. Put it down somewhere. Don't let it get lost. Don't let it fade away. Put it someplace that you can share it, because
Thank everybody for tuning in. Everybody on the Dev Talk Radio app, on YouTube Live, on Facebook. Thank you for tuning in. Again, all the love, respect going out to Stan Lee. We will never ever forget you, and your influence will always live on with all of us. So we love you, Stan. That's it for our show. This is Geeked Out. I'm your man, JQ. This is Free.
Enough said.
This is Chandler.
Excelsior!
That's what I was waiting for. We are out.